Hey guys, it's Nemo and welcome to World of Warships. Today's video we have for you the Tier 7 French battleship, the Lyon. Now, the Lyon is not going to be a cover girl in terms of appearance. She's not the prettiest looking ship, but in terms of her character and her play, she is one of the best ships to play, one of the most fun ships to play in the entire game. I have to admit that I have done the whole triple Lyon division with some of my clan members, and I blame you Jingles for that. You know, that was such a good video that he put up about that. We followed the rules to a T, and it makes the game. It's a very fun ship. In terms of her broadside, now if you take the caliber out, she has the heaviest broadside in the entire game with 16 shots per salvo. Now caliber wise, not that big. She's only got the 14-inch guns, so she can do damage, if especially to cruisers, broadside cruisers. If you had seen my community update video yesterday, you would have seen that a broadside Irian around 17 kilometers away from me just vanished into thin air, because if RNG is on your side with this ship, you can do a lot of damage. If RNG is not on this side, and you'll see it a number of times in this battle, you'll just see the shots spread and go everywhere. So how do we play the Lyon? What do we want to do with her? Well, we don't want to get too close like what we do with our Royal Navy battleships. Royal Navy battleships have got that great concealment. They can come in really close. I mean, the 13.8 on the Lyon is not bad at all. Not bad at all. You can outspot a lot of cruisers. But she hasn't got a healing ability such as the Royal Navy battleships do, especially when you get to tier 9 and 10. They get that big zombie heal, and they can print a new ship. And because she hasn't got the great stealth like the Royal Navy battleships, she can't disengage as easily. She's fast, quite fast for a battleship, but you don't want to play her at the back either. You'll see me in this battle not really go past the back of the sea line. I think a lot of people will say, sea line's probably a little bit too far away. It could be, yeah, but you've got to think about the size of the map. This is the Trident battle map, and it's a mid-tier map. It's pretty much set for tier 6, tier 7. I reckon it's a great map, and I really enjoy it. If you can control B and C, you're going to win the map. And the reason that you can't really win from A is because all the islands around take you out of the battle. They take you away from the control points. And a lot of your positioning as a battleship is based on the size of the map. Now, a lot of Fusos and things like that you'll see will probably be further out on the B line. A Fuso technically is never out of the battle. The only thing that stops you from being in the battle as a Fuso would be your aim, and the fact that a Fuso can just spread shells everywhere as well. I mean, not as bad as German ships and things like that, but and it all comes down to RNG with everything. So what we want to do is we want to sort of play mid-range. If you're within 12 to 15 kilometers away from your opponent, you're probably in a really good spot. I'd probably say about 15 kilometers away in the Lyon from your opponent is a really good spot for you as a ship, because then you've got enough firepower that you can punch through enemy ships, and you've got enough leeway that you can get away if you have to. Now what you're going to see me doing here is moving away over towards the A cap. Why? Well, we have a plethora of ships on sea, and they have one. So I don't need to be there anymore, but I can see that the entire enemy, except for maybe 2 ships now, have gone over to A. So I'm going to put myself in position here as a blocker Now the Lyon, with her massive amount of firepower, can play as a blocker quite well. You'll see me jockeying back and forth a lot. The next, I'm not sure how many minutes, but it's going to be relatively in the one position. A lot of people try to play the game too fast, especially guys who've come over from World of Tanks. They think that they can just zip around the map, shoot at everything that moves quickly, and the game will be over. No, you can't play it like that with World of Warships. World of Warships by nature is a slower game. It's on water. Warships don't move as fast. They're bigger. They're heavier than tanks. And so, playing patiently here, which is what I'm doing, I can see my left side of my team, or the right side of my team, left side of the map, is just left side of the mini-map, sorry, it's just fallen to pieces. So what I want to do is wait for the rest of my team to push through that C cap to B. So how can I do that? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to position myself where I'm far enough away from enemy ships that they can't do too much damage to me, but I'm close enough that if they decide to push through, I can stop them, I can slow them down. So as you can see, a lot of my enemies here are in that 12 to 15 kilometer range, which I'm talking about. It's probably an efficient range for the Lyon. And I'm going to just jockey back and forth, and then whenever pops their head up is going to get a broadside. Now here I'm probably giving a little bit too much broad, and the only reason is because I want to try and get all those guns off as a blocker. But I can see there's 3 ships aiming at me, but I know that those 3 ships are the cruisers, because they're the ones out there spamming me. So knowing what is aiming at you and how much damage they are going to do to you is a really effective skill. I don't even think it's a skill, it's just visuals seen on the map here. Knowing how many and what is shooting at you can really help determine how you play the game. Now I am being focused here by the cruisers, and that's fine, because that means that my battleships out here with me can regroup, reorganize, and go in and try and fight their targets, hopefully one-on-one. And the good thing about the speed on the Lyon is that if I do need to move very quickly, I can just put her up to full speed and off she'll go. She's quite, as I said, she's quite a quick battleship. But if you're racing around in a battleship, you're probably not, unless you're a brawler like a German battleship, Bismarck or Kurfürst, and you're going in to brawl. You don't really want to be racing around too much. You want to just take your time, pick your targets, and make sure that your targets go down. Now, unfortunately, that one there, that didn't go down, but that's alright, because we're still doing our job. So as you can see, we are detected, but we're not being aimed at. So we're just going to move back into position. You don't need to go fast, that's why reversing here is fine. Because while we're here holding this position, we're making sure that the other guys coming through aren't getting flanked. And once you get into a flanked position and crossfires, the game is pretty much over, because you take fire from too many ships. And too many sides. So I've helped to finish off the cruisers over there, and now that the battleships over there have no real cruiser support, I can see from the last known positioning on the Gneiss now that he's going to push down through the island. So what I want to do is now turn around. I've done my job. It's time to turn around and go back in. We don't want to go too far away from the battle, because then you can't get back into it, and case in point is actually there's a Colorado on the enemy team. You might see he's over on the 1 line at the moment on the minimap. Well, he ends up coming up around on the B line, almost to where I am. And Colorado hasn't got that kind of speed to be able to get around an entire map like this and and affect the battle with speed, whereas Lyon can move around quite easily. But the thing that the Colorado does have is big 16-inch guns that can absolutely pack a punch when they hit. So job done, it's time to head back in, and we need to help out our most advanced ships now. So our most advanced ship right now is my division mate here, Dream, and he's in the Nelson, which has 16-inch guns, which are great, but the Nelson can't really... Nelson's only got 25mm armor everywhere, so it's very thin armor. It can be penetrated and chunked out quite easily. And as we're going down here, I start to get, my spidey sense sort of starts tingling away. And I realise that we haven't seen a destroyer for quite a while, but I have been perma-spotted the entire time. So that to me says, yeah, there's a destroyer around. There's got to be a destroyer here near me. So I slow down, because if you feel like there's a destroyer around, you want to throw off their torpedo aim. You want to go back and forth. You want to turn around, turn the ship out, turn the ship in, or zigzag as they call it. And you want to drop and accelerate your speed as often as you can, because the last thing you want is them to get a good torpedo read on you, and you do what most battleship players do and just sail in a straight line and get killed. Now what that Fiji done is very dangerous as a light cruiser player, especially a British light cruiser sitting in smoke. If you're going to smoke like that, smoke first and then crawl, like stop the ship, then start smoking and crawl forward at quarter speed. And the reason that you do that is it won't allow you to get seen like that. You come forward just a bit too much, and there's the torpedoes. Spidey sense was right, and we avoid those torpedoes, which means that the Fubuki is near us. So instincts, you can't train instincts. You can watch as many videos as you like, but it's just not gonna. You can't hone that. You can hone it, but you can't train it. So we get shots off. 6,600. Now people think that AP won't do anything against destroyers anymore, but if you've got AP loaded in a battleship, just use it, especially when you've got the Lyon with the 16 guns, because as you can see there, we did one salvo of AP and we've taken off more than half his health. So there's more torpedoes on the way, and because we've started moving again, we will get out of the way. And 2 salvos AP, and he's gone. Yeah, HE would have done a lot more damage straight away, but when you're getting over penetrations that are worth 1,000 HP and you're getting 6 of them each time, that's 12,000 HP in one shot. I mean, that's in 2 salvos. That's quite good. So the other thing we need to worry about here right now is we're attacking the Genizer now, but behind us we have a Colorado which can delete us. So the 15-inch guns of the Genizer now can't hit us as hard as what the 16-inch guns of the Colorado can. So that's why I'm staying angled with the biggest threat behind me. So my armor would be angled the most to the biggest threat, and the target that you're not attacking. When a target pops up, you want it to be a one-on-one fight. You don't want him to have multiple friends, so it's either for you one-on-one or two-on-one against him. You want to make sure that you have the advantage. So I was attacking the Genizer now. Now, unfortunately for me, that would have been 2-on-1 if the Genizer now and the Colorado had attacked me, which would have been in their benefit, in their favour, their benefits. But the Genizer went around the island, meaning that once he was gone, the Colorado is out there on his own. Now, I put this island here in front of me to make sure that the Gneisenau or any other ship wasn't going to attack me when I turned on the Colorado. So things like that, using islands as shields and blocking off enemies to make sure that fights are unfair. You want to make sure that the fight is unfair, but in your favour. So you're going to have the upper hand no matter what you do. So the Fiji here, for example, is a light cruiser. He's out on his own. I now have myself and another battleship with me. I'm fast enough that I can get away from the Colorado and focus on a new target. This Fiji hasn't been playing too badly, so I do want to try and get him out of the battle. But we do need the cap as well. So the thing is that while I'm engaging the Fiji there, I've also got to make sure that my broadside isn't open to the Colorado. Now that I'm going into the cap, I'm going to put my nose towards the enemy battleships in front of me, because I want to try and engage the Colorado. He's the threat at the moment because I'm about to sail into a crossfire. Something that I tell you guys not to do ever. But if you have to do it, because we need the caps by now, you have to do it smart. So you need to angle your armor in a way that only one enemy, if any enemies at all, will have any shots at you. So we're broadside now to the Colorado, which is unfortunate because he could delete me if he wanted to, but we have to angle against the 3 enemies in the front. Now I do end up accidentally sailing out of the cap here, but it doesn't really matter. It sort of works in our favour. The time is getting low. We really need to get the kills. And I know that I'm going to be in trouble if I keep sailing forward. So you don't want to, as I said, you don't want to sail into a crossfire. That's what you want to try and avoid. So turning around is what I'm trying to avoid here. Getting destroyed from both sides. Now if you have a look at Dream there in front of me in Nelson, he's engaging one target. So what he's done is he's put himself near the island there, where only that one target can hit him. So the other 3 enemy ships, or now the other 2, can't actually hit him. And that's the type of position you want to take. You want to take a position that mitigates as much damage as you are going to take and allows you to deal the most damage to your engaged target. So the Fiji goes dark. I want to try and get rid of him. He's the easiest target to kill. He's the lightest target. We need the points. So while Dream is in there capping, my battleship's in there capping, I'm trying to kill off what I can. Now the Fiji, unfortunately here for him, he makes a mistake. The Fiji's concealment is not really good. It's such a good ship, but it doesn't have the concealment to go with it. It's got 10-kilometer concealment, which is quite a lot for a light cruiser, and especially when you come from tier 6, which has got great concealment. It used to have 8.8 was the lander. And I hit him there and I leave him on 1 HP. Oh yeah, RNG, hey, RNG. But lucky the New Orleans finishes him off. I wasn't worried about him getting that kill. He needed to. We needed to win. I don't care who kills him as long as we win the game. So that kill was needed. We got it, and then Dream finishes off. So the Colorado could have probably stayed up north and then got Dream one-on-one in the crossfire, and that would have given them another 60-65 points if he had died. So it probably would have been a whole different battle if the Colorado hadn't sailed back behind the islands. But these are just things that you learn over time, over playing, positioning, numbers on kills. So for example, if I think battleships are actually 60 points. You kill an enemy battleship, you get 60 points. You kill an enemy aircraft carrier, I think it's 65 points. And those vital kills can swing a battle so much. I mean, they had a lot of points there, and the B-Cat was uncontested for almost the entire game. So, but anyway, the best way I think to get the best out of Lyon, as I said, is playing that 12 to 15 kilometre range. You've got 16 guns, so make sure that you're the one doing the bullying by using islands and creating triangles with your team, things like that. Yeah, it works really, really well. Anyway, not bad. 2100 base XP or just over is always really, really nice to have. That definitely means you've gone and pulled your weight, which is good. I feel I did pull my weight in that game a little bit. Some people probably weren't too happy, but oh well. So, build. We want to go to main armaments to protect those turrets because you have a lot of them and they can get damaged quite easily. We want damage repair so that you don't burn out as badly. Aiming systems because you can have really bad dispersion, and I'm going with the propulsion expert instead of the damage too, because of the way I was playing there, you know, jockeying back and forth. So captain skills, we're going to go to priority targets so we know how many are firing at us depending on how much broadside we're going to give. Expert marksman because it gives us that better turret traverse, and if you've got Jean-Jacques and Noré, even better again. Basics of survivability, so then when we do get on fire it just runs out a lot quicker. And concealment because we want to play a little bit closer than other battleships. Adrenaline rush for 2 points is really handy as well. If you have Jean-Jacques and Noré, you get that boost adrenaline rush, which is so handy on French ships. Sorry. So I really enjoyed the ship. I ground out to the Richelieu from this ship in 18 battles. Really, really fun to play. Anyway guys, that's my Lyon video. I love this ship. Thanks for joining me. And stay safe out there.